Helldivers, what is going on? It's Kodiak here. Welcome back to Legacy Gaming. Today, we are checking out the new Democratic Detonation Warbond. We have been talking about this on the channel for a few weeks now, thanks to some leaks, but we are finally getting the official look at the Warbond. Everything that's in it, all of the stats, all of the passive effects. We have not tested anything yet. I am jumping in clean the first morning of the launch to bring you guys along for the ride to see exactly what is in this kit. So let's dive into the first page here, and there are a couple things that definitely stand out to me. First is the BR-14 Adjudicator. This is the marksman rifle that I have been hoping would actually turn the tides of all of the marksman rifles in the game and actually give us a viable option. It looks like the leaks were spot on with everything from damage, capacity, recoil, fire rate, and the passive effect with medium armor penetration. Now, like I said, I haven't gone into the game and officially tested this yet, but just on paper, that damage looks a bit too low. That's what I'm worried about the most. We're gonna have to see how it plays out in real time. We've also got the thermite grenade on the first page, which I believe is a deviation from what happened in Cutting Edge. This is obviously a throwable that sticks to targets and deals about 100 damage, according to the stats down here, 7 penetration, outer radius being 2, I think that's AoE, and then a fuse time of about 3 seconds. So again, I'm a little wary of this one. Throwing this at a charger didn't seem to do that much during the leaked footage, but again, we're gonna be testing all of these weapons, all of the armor, and checking out for ourselves if they are legit or not. Of course, we've also got the Groundbreaker set on the first page here. That's the CE-27 Groundbreaker body armor and the CE-27 Groundbreaker helmet. And unfortunately, and I was worried about this, we've got the servo-assisted armor passive. Now, I can't remember if the leaks were right or wrong here, but the bottom line is it's not a new armor passive. And I think that's a bit lazy on the developer's part. I'm just gonna call it as it is. It's a new armor set. You're expecting people to pay super credits or real money to unlock this Warbond. I would love to see something new. Now, I get the argument that you don't want to lock that behind a paywall, but at the same time, you can't keep injecting new stuff into the game, weapons and grenades, but also not do the same for armor. There's a lot of room for the armor to be evolved, if you will, with new passive effects, and we even saw that in Cutting Edge. So why they decided not to go with new passives for Democratic Detonation is kind of beyond me. On page 1, you also have the squat. This is a new victory pose where your Helldiver just kind of pops down. You've also got the Harbinger of True Equality player card, as well as the Harbinger of True Equality cape. Both of these, obviously, in the same vein, and they go with the CE-27 Groundbreaker armor. And then, of course, if you want to start recouping all of those super credits you just spent, you can buy the 100 super credit pack for 7 medals. All right, let's move on to page 2 of the Warbond. What I want to talk about first is the CE-07 Demolition Specialist armor. Of course, that comes with the helmet as well, but it's the armor we care about because of the passive. And here again, we have got an old passive engineering kit, which further reduces recoil when crouching or prone by 30% and gives you an additional 2 grenades holding and inventory capacity. So pretty good. I love that effect, but I would love to see something new. Now, note that this is actually a light armor set, so you've got more speed, more stamina regen, and less armor. Of course, on this page is also the Expert Extraction Pilot Booster. This one I have definitely wanted to pick up because sometimes when you got a team that has a lot of unlocks, that 4th and sometimes even that 3rd slot is up for question. I think the Expert Extraction Pilot is going to be a huge win, especially on the automaton front. Lowering that time it takes to extract is going to be a big deal, especially when the spawns are still a bit buggy. Of course, on this page, we've also got the R36 Eruptor. This is probably the weapon I've been most excited to check out. It's got medium armor penetration, it's explosive, and it does a lot of damage. This is very similar to the Dominator from the Steeled Veterans Warbond. I'm excited to see how it's slightly different. As you can tell, high damage, low capacity, high recoil, low fire rate. So you've got a very interesting weapon here, and based on the leaked footage that we saw from our friend Mods for Days, this is a bolt action weapon. You are not going to be using this weapon to clear waves and waves of enemies. So maybe taking this opens up the options to take something like a machine gun or a grenade launcher, which can be used for wave clear, and this can be used for high priority targets like elite enemies. Think of Brood Commanders or even Devastators, or possibly even something like a Hulk. Again, it's not heavy armor penetration or thick armor penetration, it's medium, but we still need to see how this will play out. On the page, we've also got a new pose. We've got the Courtly Bow. I like this one more than the squat, of course, because it's actually interesting. Then we've got a new cape, the Eagle's Fury, which is kind of in line with the Demolition Specialist armor here. We've got that kind of rust red, the gray, and the white, and then a matching Eagle's Fury player card. Again, 100 super credits up for grabs too if you want to start recouping your losses. Moving on to the third page, we've got the FS55 Devastator body armor. I am so excited about this one. I am a huge fan of heavy armor now that they've finally fixed the armor rating issue that was plaguing the game for the first month of launch. As you can see, it is heavy, 150 armor rating, 450 speed, 50 stamina regen, and it's got the fortified armor passive, which reduces recoil when crouching or prone by 30% and provides 50% resistance to explosive damage. So think about the automaton front. This is a great set of armor to be using on that front. It also looks pretty badass, which I am a huge fan of. Also on the page, we have got the CB9 exploding crossbow. This is something that I really wasn't sure of going into the Warbond's official launch. The early leaked footage looked terrible. The later leaked footage from our friend Mods for Days looked way better. It's got high damage, 420, low capacity with 5, low recoil with 35, and a low fire rate with 50. But it's that damage that really matters. And being able to do things like exploding bunkers and bug holes is going to be a huge part of this weapon's viability. So excited to check this one out. On the third page, we've also got the GP31 grenade pistol. This is something that I think will add a new dynamic to a Helldivers kit, mainly because they can use that secondary weapon to kill bug holes and automaton bunkers. That is something that they have not been able to do with the secondary weapon. So being able to take this into combat, not using your secondary to kill enemies necessarily, but use it as more of a utility piece, is pretty interesting. That changes up the dynamic of the game, and that's something I think the developers need to continue to do. If you keep injecting just cool weapons into the game that are just stronger or faster or whatever, it's not going to increase the uniqueness of the experience. So doing things like adding the GP31 grenade pistol, that's a big deal. Also on this page is the Freedom's Tapestry cape. This is obviously in line with the Devastator armor. We've got a matching player card. We've also got a new victory pose, the Boxer, and this is cool. It's a bit slow for my liking, but I get it. He's shadow boxing. It's kind of cool. And then, of course, one more round of 100 super credits if you want to recoup those losses. So overall, we've got a new Warbond. It's playing out very similar to how it played out the first time around with 3 different pages. Not a huge metal investment. Of course, it's going to cost you 1,000 super credits to unlock. And as always, guys, our plan now is to test every weapon. Obviously, we would have checked the armor if there were some new passives, but in this case, there are no new passives. So we're really going to focus on the weapons, the grenades, and of course, that grenade pistol to let you guys know if everything is legit, not legit, if it's worth picking up. By the time you see that video, you might have already made up your mind. But anyways, we are still going to test everything and let you know what is what. As always, my name is Kodiak. If you like our Helldivers 2 content, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, and of course, consider subscribing, and we will see you for the next video.